What is up, and welcome to another edition of Worth a Watch with me, Anthony Flores. This is going to be a long-awaited Blu-ray update. A handful of people have honestly asked me, hey, Anthony, where's a Blu-ray update? You were kind of doing that for a while. In my last Blu-ray update video, in terms of the steelbooks of Walmart and so on and so forth, over 1,000 views. That just makes me so happy, and just my mind is blown. That is my first 1,000 view hits, whatever you want to call them, YouTube video in a very, 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 very long time. And my God, I cannot thank you all enough. My subscribers or just casual viewers, either way, thank you. I appreciate that. And today is a little bit of a segment I will continue because I love comedies. I've said that in many of videos before. A handful of people that may have seen this particular video before, but I entitled the Blu-ray update called Comedy Goodness. And I'm going to continue that today, if you obviously can tell by the title up there. Comedy is just one of the best things in my life in terms of genres of films and movies and history and so on and so forth. I have a very big background of loving comedic films, whether it be slapstick, dramedies, and a little bit of mixed up stuff in between there. I enjoy all forms of comedies at their essence. If they make me laugh for whatever reason, or if they bring me a little bit of heart to a film and mesh good amounts of funny bits in there, they make me very happy. And that's what comedy should do. And first up, we got ourselves a very, very, very quote-unquote stupid, off the wall, I don't know how else to call it, comedy, Bringing Down the House. Now this, I rewatched this, and my God, this is one of the few comedies out there that did not age well, in my opinion. You got Queen Latifah and Steve Martin starring in this. So I guess you can call it a blockbuster. It made over $100 million in terms of the box office here in the U.S. And you got Eugene Levy as well in this film. Overall, it's a solid enough family type movie, and as you can see, I got it from a pawn shop. But I was very shocked there was artwork. Lately, a bunch of these 2012, 2011 releases, and of course this year, Disney has been slacking. They didn't give a shit about artwork at all, just putting giant blue discs with giant text, and that's about it. So I was very happy to see that. But sadly, this movie doesn't hold up and isn't as funny as I remember it, from what I can tell in the special features as well. There's some, if this can focus, there's a handful of features in high definition, as it says here. But overall, the reason why it's not as funny is because some slapsticks can truly range in jokes. This is literally just Steve Martin's the uptight white guy, Queen Latifah is the sassy black woman, and Eugene Levy here is horny for sassy black women. And I don't mind that at all. I love Queen Latifah both as an actress and, well, physically, I don't mind that at all. I don't mind some curvy, lovely ladies out there. But aside from that, before I just go in a complete tangent, this movie just has nothing but those same jokes over and over, to the point where they kind of are ran into the ground just a little bit. And some movies I can stand that for the most part, and I can enjoy it anyways. But this movie, I don't know, I may have to rewatch it again. But aside from that, the picture quality is great, and it still has its moments. It really is a funny enough movie. So we shall move on from there to not really going any better here. The Adam Sandler movie Click. Now this particular movie and two more other titles that I will mention, I got for $3.98 due to some trading credit, as well as a special they were having for 3 for $15 if you purchase 3 movies for $5.99. Sweet deal for movies in terms of comedies for me. You got Kate Beckinsale, Christopher Walken there, and yes, this is a movie that Adam Sandler's done before. He's the overworking dad, and it's kind of in Wonderful Life's plot elements. It has the whole cliched ending and whatnot, but I enjoyed this still. I rewatched this. The picture quality looks great for Blu-ray, and I don't know what it is. I just do have a couple tears going, man, at the ending of this, because Adam Sandler can act. Reign Over Me, Punch Drunk Love, and a bit of Spanglish, a little bit if anybody's seen those films. He can act, and when he had to do drama at the end of this, it was very shocking to me when I first saw this in the theater, let alone rewatching this. he can still pull that off. As stupid and over the top as movies like this are, he can still do drama, and and like in Funny People is my perfect dramedy in my opinion, and he did so well in that film as well. As stupid as some of the premise can get, he does so well with it, and that's what makes me even bother keeping this film. It's just a little bit different than his normal films. It had a bit of a heart to it at the end, and even though if you can see the ending coming a mile away, I still enjoyed it for what it is. Again, one of the titles I got for $3.98 or so. Here Comes the Boom. Again, made by Adam Sandler's company, Happy Madison, and you got much like he co-starred in here. Henry Winkler was more of a starring role in this, and the lovely Selma. I'm sorry, I go a little bit to a weird place when it comes to Salma Hayek. So, for those of you who've seen a handful of my videos, you may know what I'm talking about. But anyways, this film was so underrated last year. Sure, Happy Madison keeps killing careers and doing whatever. Aside from Adam Sandler, somehow he still makes it alive every time. Comes out winning anyways, but this movie didn't deserve that. Sure, The Zookeeper, that's another one of those questionable films. But this didn't deserve that. As while this may be cliched, it was just a nice enough movie. It had a genuine message. It had some funny, over-the-top moments, and you had Kevin James at his funniest in quite some time. The last time he was even remotely funny, I thought, was in Grown Ups. But even in that, he hasn't been this funny since technically like King of Queens and a couple of other supporting roles. But this was one of his best starring roles, and I was happy to see him not overkill embarrass himself, much like in these Adam Sandler movies. Usually make other stars do that, but regardless, I love the film, and it's definitely underrated in my opinion. Next up is a newer release here. I got this for $9.99 at the same local video store that I go to, and my apologies for the glare, but as you can see, this is very reflective and shiny. I love this slipcover so much. It's got some pretty solid special features, and Jim Carrey made this film. That's the only reason why I bought it. I have missed me some Jim Carrey, and the guy is awesome. And Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi were a bit on the wasted end of this movie. They could have done so much more, and surprisingly though, Olivia Wilde had a decent enough role in this, but overall, I enjoyed this movie. It's still a funny enough film to have on Blu-ray and DVD and whatever you'd like to call it, but overall, I just enjoy it. It's a fun enough movie. I thought, you know what, for $10 compared to $25 when it came out a couple weeks back as I'm filming this, why not? It's brand spanking new. Somebody obviously just, they took the ultraviolet, so that's more than likely why they just pawned it off. But anyways, yeah, hopefully Steve Carell will be awesome in Despicable Me 2, and Jim Carrey, I'm really hoping he's awesome in Kick-Ass. Next up is one of my personal top 10 favorite movies of this past year in 2012, and Safety Not Guaranteed. Threw me off. I really enjoyed it, and even though if the ending leaves me a little bit with some questions, I just enjoy it. It's a time travel film with a nice little bit of a romantic comedic element in there, and it's a solid enough movie. I really enjoyed it for a small little indie film. It surprised me. I remember seeing a trailer and being very interested to see this. I was not able to really see this in the theater. I ended up renting it very quickly as soon as I heard word about it, that it was finally on DVD and Blu-ray, and wow, just wow. It's well acted, it's funny, it's I guess you can call it a bit romantic near the end, but overall, solid little movie right here. And for $10 instead of $24 once again, couldn't have been happier with that. Next up, I guess you can clarify this as a guilty pleasure, but overall, I enjoyed Scary Movie. The first three are superbly funny and parodying pop culture, and of course, mainly the scary movies they parody and spoof, if you will. Charlie Sheen is hilarious in this. Anna Faris is definitely great, and of course the late Leslie Nielsen was awesome as always. Just really enjoyed this movie. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's technically one of the weaker movies, but considering that David Zucker here took over the franchise, I think it was not too terrible. The fourth one though, I hope that one did for sure go off the deep end. It was truly a cash grab. And the fifth one, well, that one does not exist in my opinion. And in my own head, it never existed, and it's a shame that Charlie Sheen was even a part of it, but either way, I enjoyed the trilogy, and yeah, it's a guilty pleasure in many ways for many people, but I like it for what it is, a good spoof film. The next title I have up is Wedding Crashers. I definitely enjoyed this in terms of replay value. This, while the internship from earlier this summer was a bit of a meh kind of film, it was still fun, and Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn's chemistry was really solid in that film. I don't think it should have gotten all the shit it got, but when you got cliched storylines, that'll happen to you. But overall, this is a very solid, really funny comedy, raunchy and all over the place, and you got a crazy Isla Fisher, a very, very lovely and hot Rachel McAdams in this, and a very funny Christopher Walken. I can't help it. I feel stupid every time I try to do the impression. I can't do Walken very well. But anyways, it's a very funny movie, and this was, again, the final title that I got for $3.98. Couldn't beat that price, so, yeah, Wedding Crashers. And last but definitely not least, I finally, thus far, until Season 6 comes out, completed my Big Bang Theory collection. I only needed this season. For the longest time, I was just like, fuck, I cannot find this at a solid enough, good enough, low price. This was an awesome little featurette, especially showing the true behind the scenes of how the audience members attend a screening or a taping of the entire show that they're going to do for the day. That was an awesome little featurette. I couldn't be happier with that. And of course, I love the artwork. Kaylee Cuoco looking is very, very lovely as usual. And that suit is really very snug, it looks like. But either way, funny as hell. Fracking fantastic, as it says right there. I got some pretty solid artwork on the inside as well. And we got your booklet and so on and so forth. The 2 discs. And yeah, it's such a funny show. I've watched it since episode 1 when it first aired way back in 2007. Man, that seems like such a far time ago. But yeah, for people who say this is overrated, blah, 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 it ain't 2.5 Men at least. You gotta give it credit for that shit. 2.5 Men, why is that even going still? That was fucking terrible. The last 2 seasons, Ashton Kutcher and Jon Cryer just need to go the fuck away. In terms of comedy, that's where I draw the line. Yeah. Well, that should do it for my entire, let's see if we can pick these up here, entire comedy goodness right there. I figured, I have other Blu-rays that I've picked up recently as well, but I figured these are a lot of comedy movies. They deserve their own segment, and comedy goodness, I believe, is what I'll stick with. There is always a comedy I'm purchasing, or a handful of them like this, and I hope I will continue to find good comedies in my opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment below, like, and subscribe, and all that other good stuff in between. So stay tuned for another Blu-ray update, and thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Flores with Worth Watch, and keep going to the movies.